And a good morning to everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's the one and only Jay Stein coming to you from a very stormy Houston, Texas. That we got rain, we got thunder, we got lightning, we got it all today. So it sucks to be you if you're here and you have to actually drive around anywhere. Yeah. So anyway, stock market. Let's get on into it. So we're setting up for what looks like a down day to me. We've got a 10-year, which is sitting flat at 1.64, subject to change, of course. This is rather early when I do these videos. We also have the dollar actually is up 0.25, which is it's notable for sure. And oil is down 1.89%, almost 2% down. Couple that with where the S&P is, it's still on the bottom end of my channel that I'm watching. And yesterday wasn't a strong day, although it was a record-setting day and it did jump up. It just wasn't a strong hold or a strong. It was flimsy to say the least. So my concern with the S&P today is if it fails to hold that channel. I do have support right underneath that channel, but if it drops both of them, and depending on what the rates do and the dollar, there's a lot of focus on how to calculate what the S&P and the broader markets are going to do. But when there's those types of setups, then we have to react accordingly. Which I'm not going to tell you what to do. You do what you do. This is an entertainment show, so by all means, make up your own mind. Anyways, so I did a show yesterday on oil and gas. If you didn't watch it, which I think most people didn't, I had like 7 views. It was a really good video. And one of my recommendations on there is ExxonMobil. They did just announce earnings, and they beat across the board, and they've got a killer dividend. So anyhow, watch that video if you're interested in how to set up a oil and gas diversified portfolio. It's a pretty good one. I come from the industry and I love energy. What can I say? So at any rate, so let's talk a little bit of crypto. As always, it's frustrating, but it's up. It's up. It's at 54,000 again. It just seems to be hovering in that range. So it's just waiting to break out, in my opinion. I don't think there's anything other than consolidation at this point. This idea of regulation, yes and no, that's always been there. It's always been an issue, but I don't think that's what's holding it down. That's just my very humble opinion. But I believe it's ready to make its next leg up. And maybe it'll do it this weekend when nobody's looking. And we wake up on Monday and it's like up, like, I don't know, $150,000 per Bitcoin. It's not going to happen. But it'd be cool if it goes up regardless. Also, the Facebook rumor. I'm still keeping my fingers crossed. I'm not holding my breath, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the Facebook rumor is true, that Facebook is holding a bunch of Bitcoin or is about to start acquiring a bunch of Bitcoin. That rumor, keyword rumor, I really hope is true. That'll be really good for it. And then Coinbase, it's trading in the negative pre-market again. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to say its name right now. It makes me upset. Anyway, so we're going to talk real quick. Merck and their vaccine program we discussed yesterday in the post-market video that I did, which if you hadn't seen that was actually a really good video. I'm not going to lie. It was a good one. And basically I broke down the difference between these hot Reddit stocks and Merck, and the differences between them. But Vaxxart and Merck are very relevant today. And I'm going to give you just a couple examples, of what's going on. Over in India, they are literally running out of oxygen. They're running out of vaccines. People are shipping stuff in. You got stuff from the United States Air Force coming in. Russia's sending stuff. Okay, so several states in India have run out of the coronavirus days before they planned of basically they were going to do a big inoculation and nationwide they were going to give a bunch of people a vaccine, and then they ran out. They also ran out of oxygen, like I just said, so people are dying in the hospitals. This is by far the biggest hotspot in the country, or I'm sorry, in the world. And yeah, like I said, they're running out. So Vaxxart and their capabilities in India, okay, that's one thing, but they can't manufacture at the level they need to. Whereas Merck, partnering with Johnson and Johnson and the other 5 generic manufacturers that they have in India, they have that production capability. So this falls back onto my argument that Vaxxart, as cool as it is, and look, make money on it if you are cool, if you're not, whatever, but don't sit here and try to patronize me and tell me that, it's the next greatest thing and so on and so forth. It's not, it's not. That's not what's needed right now. What's needed right now is vaccines for India. Okay, they are out. So let's get to work. Merck, Johnson and Johnson, those other manufacturers over there, and it's to the point where Singapore, which has always been pretty much on top of their game with controlling the who they let in and out of the country to keep their numbers down in terms of COVID infections. So they basically banned pretty much everybody else from Asia. That includes, let's see, Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, obviously India, and a few others that they've straight up banned. So that begs the question of, okay, are other countries going to start banning travel or put on travel restrictions? And that in and of itself is almost counterintuitive, considering that we have so many states and governors saying, hey, you can go around not wearing a mask, right? Where we also have these new variants of the virus that are highly contagious, have a higher mortality rate, and are growing exponentially throughout the global population. So I'm not really sure what to make of that. Again, it's almost counterintuitive. But, I'm sure Vaxxart is going to be trending again today. And honestly, I'm so sick of hearing about it. I really am. I get what they're doing. Just Merck can do it better. They have a better pipeline. They have better capabilities. And they're also partnering with J&J and 5 other manufacturers to produce J&J's existing vaccine. So long-term effects, Vaxxart might get bought out. They might go to nothing. I don't know. I don't really care. We need the vaccine now. And that's what matters. So anyways, on to a less depressing note. Okay, so Facebook blew the numbers out yesterday, right? They crushed it. My thesis on that is well, obviously their ad revenue went up, and that's because I believe that small businesses are trying to utilize every aspect of social media and any other type of advertising and branding to get customers back into their establishments. So that is why I believe You heard that little thunder action. That's why I believe we saw the jump in the ad revenue for Facebook. So, anyways, Twitter, on the other hand, they dumped, and it's because their user numbers dropped. So, if you were listening to me yesterday, one of the things about Facebook that I had mentioned was censorship. And if you say the wrong thing or you have the wrong opinion, they will literally shut you down. They will block your account, and if you do it enough times, they'll delete your account. Twitter is the same thing, except for worse. I can't tell you how many people, I have dozens upon dozens upon dozens of news sources, not just websites and articles, but other people that I follow. And these people don't even have extreme viewpoints, but their channels are getting community guideline strikes. Twitter, they're getting strikes and suspensions. And I'm sorry, but people don't want to be on a platform where they're restricted from speaking their opinion. And we're not talking about hate speech. We're not talking about, inciting any sort of violence or anything like that. These are just basic opinions of people who might not go along with what you see on the mainstream news. And now they're being punished for it. So again, who wants to get on that? And I personally know, excuse me, of a lot of people that have canceled their accounts personally. And then obviously from this article, you can see, a lot of other people are. So their stock is actually not doing too good pre-market. So we can move on along to Amazon, and those guys, they crushed it. They did very well. All things considered, their numbers are up. People are using Prime. AWS is killing it. Like I always refer to Amazon, they're E Corp. If you ever watch Mr. Robot, they're Evil Corp. But I have an Amazon box that I haven't opened yet. I also have another empty Amazon package that is in the trash can. So yeah, they're Evil Corp, but I'm not a slave to anybody. But yeah, I totally use Amazon all of the time. But anyways, so kind of it's interesting to note. It's not a surprise at all. And I could read you all the numbers and whatnot, but I don't feel like it because I don't think anybody really cares when it comes down to it. They did good. Their stock's going to go up. But what happened with Facebook yesterday is, it went up, but the tech sector really didn't move a lot at all. And although Twitter tanked, Amazon's gone up. So I'm really curious to see, if Facebook can hold its gains once the market actually opens. If it can't hold its gains and Twitter tanks and Amazon's the only one that's up in the FANG stocks, I'm really curious to see how the tech sector is going to hold up in general, particularly when we have the setup for the markets in general to have a pullback on the S&P and the Dow. So that's with that. So of the FANG stocks, we've got one, Amazon, who, knocked the ball out of the park. I always seem to lose my analogies. I don't know why. Anyways. Okay. So, President Joe Biden, he basically is saying that, Lyft and Uber and Dash drivers, all need to be considered as employees. So all of those companies are taking a hit, which it sucks. And here's why. Those guys don't get benefits. They're paid as contractors and they work their butts off. They really, really do. And it's not exactly steady work. I know of a lot of drivers that end up sitting in a parking lot for quite some time before they get a request for, a Lyft or an Uber or DoorDash and so on. So it's very inconsistent. Now, I'm not saying they need to get paid maybe on an hourly basis, something like how a restaurant does it, where you have your servers that get paid like $3.50 but tips. Something along those lines, I think, would be very, very fair, along with benefits. But for the shareholders and greedy ass Wall Street, which unfortunately I play a part of, and I'm probably, this is going to affect me too. It's just really sad and unfortunate how when people get screwed over, companies do good, and when people are actually, being taken care of correctly, that the stocks do bad. So it is the way it works. The crappier our economy gets, the better the stock market gets. And this has now been going on since the COVID restrictions really started happening. So it's discouraging in that regard. You see people getting screwed over, and yet we're making money on it. I don't like that. It doesn't vibe very well with me. But I don't want to be too self-righteous. So, anyways. All right, guys. So let's bust into it real quick. We already talked about Merck. We already talked about Vaxxart. NLS. Look, they're already on their low. They're basically testing that very low limit, and pre-market they're actually down a little bit. So if it doesn't come back up before the market opens, I'm going to cut that thing loose. Nikola, same thing. It's already testing on that low, and pre-market it's actually slightly lower again. So if it does not pull up, it's off my list. Frog, again, guys, I don't know, and I'm leaning more toward it's about to get cut loose. It's just I'm no longer liking the setup very much. So I think we'll know pretty quick after the open, one way or the other on Frog. INCY, I'm still holding. It's, again, I think it's a great setup. I mean, the balance sheet, the technicals are a little weird, but it's still a good hold. GOCO. Oh boy. All right. So there's been one pre-market sell that has dipped it, but it was just one sell thus far. So let's see what it can do. I'm very excited about it. However, the last time I got very excited about a deal, it crumbled and went to crap. So I don't know if my excitement is an omen of bad things to come, but GOCO is looking nice, and I really want to see this thing blast off. So Overstock, yeah, like I was saying yesterday, it ran up pretty significantly, but it came back down. So I'm still on the fence on that. I think it would still be a good buy based on the fact that most people are still ordering stuff from home. I don't care what they say. People are going out to the stores and going shopping. Not so much retail REITs or malls and real stores, physical stores, brick and mortars. They're not doing so good. Okay, yeah, restaurants and bars and stuff like that. Yeah, people want to go out. People want to do that. But when it comes to shopping, it's just so much easier to click on a mouse and in a day or two have a whole new wardrobe show up, which, by the way, don't tell my wife I did that. She's going to be upset with me. She still has not seen that empty Amazon box. So anyways, I hope she doesn't watch this. Anyway, so I think Overstock is a decent buy and hold situation, and they had good numbers and good guidance. So, and lastly, I'm going to leave you with AMD. Buy the dip, in my humble opinion. Remember, none of this is advice. This is an entertainment show. Okay? So, anyways, guys, this has run on way longer than I expected. My bad. Anyways, I hope everybody makes a lot of money today, and I will keep up with any breaking news or market updates that need to be noted. Anyways, guys, I hope it's not storming like crazy where you're at, and I will talk to you later. Oh, yeah. I almost forgot. Please thumbs up and please subscribe.